Welcome to the Autistic Culture Podcast Advocacy Edition. In these episodes, we tackle the issues that matter most to autistic people.
Each week, we share our insights and the experiences of our guests on how to live authentically and thrive as autistics.
I'm Dr. Angela Kingdon, the linguistic autistic.
And I'm Matt Lowry, licensed psychological practitioner. Let's dive into strategies for living your best, most authentically autistic life.
Episode 90, Holiday Tips for Autistics. Well, hey, Matt.
Hey, Angela.
It is the season of joy. Are you feeling the joy?
As we record this, I wish I had some joy.
It is the holidays, and I saw the other day, which I'm going to shout out throughout this show, but there is an amazing therapist actually in the UK who I love. She has a Substack, Jade Farrington. I'm going to give you guys this link in the show notes too. But Jade came out with a brief guide to a happy neurodivergent Christmas. Ditch the expectations and meet your needs. And I saw this and I was like, oh, before the holidays hit in full swing, we got to get this episode out with some of our favorite tips on how to survive the holidays. Matt, I know we have talked about your greatest Thanksgiving tip of all, which is stay home and watch MST3K.
Yeah, because unless you're into Festivus, the airing of grievances is not on the menu, but it will inevitably happen, especially as Uncle Ted gets more and more drunk.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're listening to this on the day it's released, at least you have somehow survived Thanksgiving if you celebrate. And now there is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the day after Christmas, Boxing Day. There's still all of the New Year's expectations. And then there's this entire week or two off school, which if you're a parent, you have your children at home and probably still have to figure out how to work. So everything is jumbled and out of order. If you're somebody who has created a life and a schedule to minimize sensory interruptions and other jilted expectations, the holidays are here to fuck with that.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Right. And we do want to enjoy the holidays very often, but it's confusing what enjoying the holidays looks like for us because there's so many. I mean, I don't watch the Hallmark movies, but they're still in my, I don't know, it's in the zeitgeist. All of the Great Love Actually, all of the Christmas movies telling me what a Merry Christmas looks like.
A Merry Christmas looks like a woman executive coming from the big city to a small town. She's engaged to or married to a man. And then she comes across a man clad entirely in flannel from head to toe who teaches her the true meaning of Christmas and realizes that she needs to cheat. And that is
while chopping wood?
While chopping wood.
Yeah, okay.
Inevitably, there's going to be a magical sequence where it's snowing, and she's apparently never seen snow before in her life. They fall deeply in love, and then nothing happens after Christmas because it ends abruptly with the credits.
Because it ends abruptly.
That's what Christmas is all about. Thanks, Hallmark.
I feel like you've been watching the Christmas movies, Matt.
I've seen... There's a great, well, no, that's a Lifetime movie. Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig did a parody of one, and it was fantastic. But
I do enjoy them.
Yeah,
I enjoy them.
They nailed it fantastically. But yeah, that's the Hallmark movie template. They've done that movie probably 90 times at this point with varying actors of various commercial grade quality. So you see these actors, selling, I don't know, toothpaste or sponges.
I feel like in none of that, at least very rarely, I obviously have not watched all of these, but do the actual things that come up for autistic people come up?
Oh God, no! These things are written by neurotypicals.
Right. So, and formulaically, even if they are written by an autistic person, they're like following this formula of how it's supposed to be. I think one of the things that messes us up at the holidays is because I have been told what Christmas is supposed to be, which is like a time of joy and happiness and family coming together, that when it doesn't match my expectations, it feels like I'm doing Christmas wrong.
Quote, doesn't anyone know what Christmas is all about?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Charlie Brown.
Thank you, Charlie Brown. Oh yeah.
Because again, that's we'll our next episode will be doing that because, you know, that's the autistic Christmas. But yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing. We are told what Christmas is, but yet there are an infinite number of variables that impact upon that. Everything from credit card debt to
that's a good one. I don't
the
have
thing
that in
you're
here.
supposed to buy you can't find. You expect that somebody's going to like this. They already have one. It's already in stock. Somebody
reactions.
buys you. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like you've told stories. We're going to get to this later too, but you've told stories of some like you have some gift giving talent and going to like huge efforts to do an amazing present and then getting I forgot what you got in return, but it was like a keychain or something.
Yeah. Oh no, I for her, I knew that she collected keychains, so I handmade 100 keychains of everything she ever said. Wrapped each of the individual ones into tiny boxes that I made. Put them all in a big box. Wrapped the big box. Also gave her a genie bottle that I got off of eBay and hand painted. Because to look like the bottle from my dream of Genie, and she gave me a desk chair.
A desk chair. That's very.
A desk. And she said it was very heavy, and I lifted it all the way up the stairs to our second floor apartment. And I'm like, and that desk chair later broke. And in the move, I just left the damn thing behind and let I had to have a junk crew clear out the stuff that I wasn't taking with me. And that was part of the junk crew. It was just, I don't need that in my life. So
don't need it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so many like dashed expectations. And I think so much of that is building up in our heads what's supposed to happen. But also, the holidays are often, at least when you're young and when you have kids, they are often with your family. Mm-hmm. And Matt, I know this will become a shock to you, but autism travels in families.
No kidding.
So you might be fucked up by all the changes with the holidays and in a house full of people where many people are going through the same sensory hell, etc.
Compounded dysregulation.
Oh, that's a fancy name for it. I just
came up with that.
Oh, yes. Well, I call it the trauma of my childhood. So,
that's
yes.
It. Yeah.
My dad and his mother were both autistic, didn't know it. And so much of my childhood Christmas memories are around not upsetting my father. So when my dad was triggered, and I will tell you what triggered him, but when my dad was triggered, he would have a meltdown that we didn't know was a meltdown. And this would ruin the holidays. And we wanted to stop the meltdowns. And the way we would stop the meltdowns is by trying to identify his triggers and tiptoe around them. Because no one was doing their own work to emotionally regulate. So to me, the holidays was high masking. It was the time of year where my mask was at the absolute highest. And I was on guard to not upset my father. So my father was born on Christmas Eve.
Oh, boy.
And the big trigger was everybody got a birthday that was separate from Christmas. And if you, like just anybody would give my dad a present that was a combined birthday Christmas present, like that's
a cheap shot, man.
Ooh, it was bad. It was real bad. So you had to have separate birthday paper and a separate birthday card. And Christmas Eve was my dad's birthday and Christmas Day was Christmas Day. And these two things could not be mixed even by strangers or God knows what would happen. And when I do
want some
too.
Validation, but it does. You're free to have the emotions. You're just not free to get mad and shit on people.
Right. Well, But if in your family there's a lot of undiagnosed autism, which was the story of my family, I think I'm the only diagnosed person, even though other people are probably aware, but they're just still high masking and not integrating that. If you don't integrate your diagnosis or your identification as autistic, it leads to all these implications for everyone. Like, not just you. Your meltdown will affect other people. Now, I still have the same meltdowns I used to have at Christmas, but I've got a whole bunch of tools so that before that meltdown happens, I am usually in another room napping or playing a game on my computer or doing something that I have most of the time extracted myself, not always. Or I've got sensory supports in place or people in place to help me. For some people, they might have an autism dog that will tip you off if you're about to have a meltdown.
That's good because of the alexithymia and the co-regulation. The support animals are very recommended.
And for the holidays around your family,
God.
like just nothing better.
That's when your dog is earning overtime pay. Give him an extra biscuit or something.
Right.
Because...
So that's why I wanted to talk today about some of the supports. If you're still integrating your diagnosis, or maybe you need to do some heavy lifting for people in your family who are not aware, I wanted to kind of go through some of the tools that I use to survive the holidays. And yes, a big one is spending a whole lot less time than is maybe seen as required. So I used to have feelings.
Spend time up in your own place on Mount Crumpet.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, who was that the Grinch?
That was the Grinch.
Mount Crumpet? Yes.
Yeah. We'll talk about him in the next episode. So
we will indeed. So, but yes, like there are expectations that maybe I unconsciously put on myself. Like, this is a time of togetherness. So my entire break from school or work or whatever, I'm going to be with my family 24/7. My friend, I no longer have that expectation. One of the worst things you could do in my family, it was like literally, I think the equivalent of killing somebody's pet, was to get a hotel and not stay with family. I don't understand
because
why.
Boundaries?
I guess they're just not allowed. It was like an insult. It was like calling somebody's house not nice or calling somebody a bad host. But like
when oftentimes both are the case, but we can't say it out loud.
Right, but you're not allowed to say. But even if that's not true, how about I just need my own space?
Yeah.
Can't that just be
I'm
allowed?
a big fan of my own space.
Yeah. And so so this is a time to like rewrite some of the rules. So, okay, I want to start with the first. I would do this now, like before you go to anyone's house, if you haven't done this, but really identifying your holiday related sensory stressors and your sensory needs. And that is for you, but also the people around you. So if you have kids, other people in your family, knowing what these are. So this is a weird one for me. 2 soundtracks is almost a surefire meltdown for me. So in my family growing up, at all times, the TV must be on. When you walk in the house, the first thing you do is you turn on the TV. I don't know why that is the rule. It's like you turn on the lights and the TV. During Christmas, we also put on Christmas music. So you have the sound of the TV.
Oh, God.
And then the sound of Christmas music. And then people want to talk to me. And they might say something like, hello, how are you? I'm dead. I died.
Yeah, because that's where the noise complexity comes in, because you've got several different noise sounds that you have to parse out and respond to and mitigate, and that's unpleasant.
I have auditory processing issues anyway, and like one like sound is just a huge issue. I really struggle with sound on many levels, which is dismissed by my family because I could go to, like, say, concerts. So how come you could go to a concert? Because it's different.
It's the same reason you like taking a shower, but don't like getting hit with super soakers.
correct. At all. I don't really like taking a shower either. But yes, at
No,
least
no.
at least I know
No.
what's coming when I get in the shower.
Yeah.
So that is a need that I have identified, and in advance, so not when I arrive on Christmas Day, but in advance, I'm going to communicate that need to all of the places I will be. Now, it may be that people don't want to respect that. So you're going to make some request. You're going to identify some needs. You're going to make some requests. And maybe people will say, I have had family members say this, like, no, we will not accommodate. We will not turn the TV off or mute the TV. I also get just distracted by blinkies on the TV. So if there's a blinking Christmas tree lights and then the blinking TV even
I
muted.
hate the blinking Christmas tree lights. If they stay on, that's great. But if they fucking blink, I cannot deal with that. Oh my
You're
God,
supposed
why?
to talk
Why?
over that.
Why is that a thing? It is so distracting. I don't understand the people who want the twinkle lights. Oh my God.
I don't know, but I will tell you the only thing I can talk about in a room with blinking lights will be blinking lights.
Of
That
course,
will be
because
the conversation.
It's a blinking light. It demands your attention.
Yeah.
Why does that exist?
You're going to ask for these accommodations in advance. And now that doesn't mean if you are given a no, you're not going to go.
Right. Well, what?
It does
What?
mean you are going to think about going. So if you literally ask someone in your family, can we not have the TV on? I really struggle with sound, or I really struggle with blinking lights. Like, here are some of my requests for when I arrive. And if they say, like, it is what it is, we're not going to change things. What I get from my family, I'll give you an actual quote. Angela, why do you need to be so dramatic? You make everything a big deal, right?
Yeah,
if you
I've
get
been
that
there.
feedback, it doesn't mean you're not going. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
Does it? Yeah, I was going to say.
Matt, you're not going.
Oh,
In Matt's
yeah.
world, you're not going. For you, though, you may decide you're going to go. For me, it changes how I go. It means I know that's going to happen. I'm going to go for a lot less time. I'm going to be prepared for it. I am disappointed generally by how my family treats me most of the time anyway. So I'm going to process that disappointment separately.
Merry Christmas.
And, yes. And then your expectations of, like, we're all coming together and we support each other. Oh, one of the big things my family says is we always put family first. Family's the most important thing. Family's the most important thing, except when I make requests to have my needs met, then suddenly it's not.
Family is most important except for Angela.
Yeah. Oh, the annoying black sheep. Hello, my friends. So advanced, another one, and this will especially affect you if you have kids and kids that are neurodivergent that may or may not be able to express this. Physical touch in our family was a big one at holidays. So there's people I don't see, aunts and uncles, cousins, other people's aunts and uncles that I don't see. And the rule was you had to kiss everyone.
Oh,
you had
God,
to hug
no.
and kiss everyone. Hello. Matt's like, oh no, not my family.
No. No. Did you ever watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
I did not.
Oh, this is a chance. We'll link it into the comment section. There was a song by Brack called "Don't Touch Me." So that's my theme. Don't touch me.
Yes, don't touch me.
Yeah.
So, and your kids may have that and may not be able to see it. So there are a lot of expectations about sitting on people's laps. I used to, why as a girl?
What? We tell kids avoid people. We tell kids avoid strangers all throughout the year. And then you go to a mall Santa and said, tell him, sit on his lap and tell him secrets. That's great. He's very trustworthy. Yes. Mall Santa. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the moment I realized that I could never make it work with my son's mother, because she was adamant that my son would sit on Santa's lap and tell him stuff. And the pictures I have was him just looking in disgust at this man and screaming and wanting to get as far away from him as possible.
Oh, and people share those and think they're funny.
Right. That's the thing. It's horrifying. And yes, this is. I admit I did share it, but I shared it because, it's horrifying and people should know about that because it's a stupid, stupid custom.
So I've talked about visual with the lights, noise, touch. you need to have your rules surprise in general. So does surprise work for you and the people in your family you're stewarding?
Me?
There are
No.
Yeah,
Why
I
would
was
it?
going to
No.
say you don't. No,
Me
me
personally,
neither.
no. No, I want to know what I'm getting ahead of time because, that's the way.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
that surprise is a big part of the holidays. And you need to set, if you're going to someone else's house or if people are coming to your house, you need to set those rules. You can't just hope magically people will pick up on cues. You're not going to pick up on cues. You can't expect other people to do it. So you can't control everything. But number one, you can have your go bag. So headphones, comfort items, blankets, what else? Eye
Keep loops on
masks.
your, keychain at all times, just in case.
Yeah. So you got to have those comfort kits. You got to have your boundaries in place ahead of time, not making these decisions in the moment. When are you going to leave? What are your boundaries? And I know, Matt, like yours are, you will just not, you will not. Matt's a no.
So for instance, like, I get along well with my autistic family. For instance, like one of my cousins who gave me a hedgehog. She's cool. Hope she's listening. Hi, Leslie.
Hi.
But anyway, she one year she gave me a popcorn tin. And I was like, oh, this is great. And she was like, well, I didn't mean to, I'm sorry I didn't get you better. I was like, no, I genuinely like the popcorn tin. I hope you get me this every year. And every year she got me the popcorn tin because,
A plus.
I was like, and I would sit there throughout the entire thing and eat the popcorn from the popcorn tin because that is I knew what to expect. I would have a tin to keep stuff in afterwards after it was thoroughly washed.
Yes.
It's a good gift, and no one ever knew what to buy me because, again, well, I mean, you can't see my office here, but you've pictures of my office exist in all previous episodes. I have a very idiosyncratic taste. I've got a very weird collection. I've got lots and lots of books. Nobody knows what to get me. It was
I was
always
going to
gift
say,
cards.
and you probably already have it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we live in an age of Etsy where in theory you could go on and get some really cool, crazy shit. But, it's no one knows me well enough to get anything that I would just really be hyped about. So the gift recipient, it's like, here, have a thing. I'm like, oh, thank you. And you got the perception sensitivity dysphoria going on where, people are watching you open your gift and, they say, oh, yes, I thought of you. Well, I take it back. I love multi-tools. So if somebody gets me a multi-tool, I am
that's
very
a handy
happy.
tip.
I love multi-tools. So give me a weird-ass multi-tool. The more tools, the better. If you give me this like Swiss Army knife that turns into a Cuisinart, I'm down for that. So,
it's like our Transformers episode.
Exactly. I'm down for which is a whole.
But I think that's like a whole emotional thing because I remember like one of my greatest disappointments was getting presents from people that it was so obvious to me I would not like that present that I'm like, do you just not know me?
Yeah.
Why would you give me that? What a weird thing to give me.
Yeah.
And then my face would say that, which then turns into you're rude, but my face makes a face sometimes.
Yeah. And I learned early on, I was told explicitly, somebody got you a present, you have to act like you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I can't remember how old I was, but like the spouse of a cousin gave me like knockoff Hot Wheels, not like actual Hot Wheels, not Matchbox, but like dollar store Hot Wheels. And I was like, oh, thank you. I very much like these. This is a great present. Thank you. And, I just had
You did better than me. My Aunt Mary got me smoker's tooth polish. I was like 7.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I don't understand. I'm not a smoker. What am I supposed to do with this? Which was not the right answer.
Think you gave me the wrong present.
That's why I was like, I think this is for someone else. Where's my present?
Yeah. That's... and this is the thing. This is where my lifelong aversion to Christmas gifts and birthday gifts comes in because, again, my father had no idea who I was. One year he was very excited. I really, really wanted, I can't remember what video game I wanted. And then he got me something else. He said, but this one's better. It's like, oh, fantastic. One year he got me a bat or a ball shaped like the animal, the bat. And I was
Oh,
like, oh,
yes.
all right. And he said, yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? And like, eh. It's
Eh,
like, no, no. And
heartbreak.
one year I really, really wanted a Transformers stand for Unicron, the big bad guy of the Transformers. And this one place was selling stands that they like laser etched themselves. And I was like, I want that specific thing. Here's a link to get that specific thing. And my mom decided, no, she was just going to hot glue sticks together. And that was going to be my gift. And she rummaged through my stuff to find the Transformer to see if the hot glue sticks fit. I was like, great. Now, because I'm a lysophobe, I've got to wash all my Transformers. She got mad and threw it out in the snow, despite the fact that she hand sewed a Domokun plush
Oh.
for my brother that took her 3 months to make for him, but she hot glued some sticks together for me. And I'm
Oh.
like, it's just, again, with the keychains that I put so much effort into that, and then she gave me the chair. And most recently for my most recent birthday, I was like, oh yes, it'd be this. And she's like, well, I could get you that, but I have to use my father's Prime account, and I really don't want to see him order stuff like that, so I won't get it for you. And I'm like,
Hmm. Hmm.
and this is
Well,
why, yeah,
that goes to one of my next tips for preparing, which is for most of us, wish lists. And now this can be hard to identify what you want, but planning when you can to create wish lists for everyone, for you, for everyone in the family, and actually give gifts from the wish lists.
yeah, because that's Amazon has wish lists, and you can put everything direct link to the item, and all they have to do is just click on it and
Pick
send
one.
it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pick one.
yeah, that
Make
it's a
everything
great,
like a wedding registry where
yeah, yeah,
we give presents that people have asked for, where we don't want to give people like 10 different sets of plates. Just give
yeah.
them the plates that they registered for. So having a wish list as a family rule and getting the rest of your family members on board that this is how we do it in our family. You
Yes.
are allowed to do that. Now, people are allowed to ignore you, but it's different when you are advocating for your needs and they ignore you than if you are just hoping that people will do the right thing in your mind's eye. So
Yeah.
it's
That
not going to
that
go the way you
expectation,
want.
the
Yeah.
expectation sensitivity is massive because
Mm-hmm.
so this is like the whole plot of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, right? The expectation that Christmas is going to go extremely well. Of course, it does not. It stars Chevy Chase, so in retrospect, it's very painful to watch. But it's that thing where we are sold this idea that Christmas is the most magical time of the year. And if you don't have this, magical response inside, you're not beaming with joy and happiness. And Christmas can be celebrated by all people of all religions all over the world because, there's something singular about this. And then it abruptly ends on December 26th.
Mm-hmm.
But, you have to, things have to go right, and it has to be a Hallmark movie. And you're going to get this feeling of joy and togetherness, and that's just not going to happen a lot.
Right. And knowing that,
Yeah,
setting yourself up for the reality instead of the fantasy, I think is a certain level of maturity
yeah,
that you are going to be so much happier if you take that on,
yeah,
and kind of give up on the other fantasies that aren't necessarily going to come true for
yeah,
you.
yeah. You need to, because uh, nothing is ever going to happen as great as inside your head.
Yeah.
Because inside your head, you control all the variables. You
I remember
control.
fighting with a therapist on this, and I was like, if I ask for it, if I identify my needs and I ask for them, then it doesn't count if people meet them because they're only doing it because I asked for it.
Yeah,
And so I think this was like about, I don't know, having somebody I was dating give me flowers. And I'm like, if I tell her I want flowers and she gives them to me, it doesn't count. So she has to magically guess I want flowers and give them to me. And I now do not have the spoons or the energy for that bullshit. I will just tell you, I can buy myself flowers. I will just tell you I want flowers. I will tell you which flowers, because this is the other thing. People would get me flowers and then they would get me lilies. Lilies make me literally want to consider murder suicide as a reasonable option. Lilies in my home, lilies near my home, lilies on my front doorstep make me want to murder someone.
Did a lily murder a pet or what?
The smell of lilies is literally like, I don't know, cat urine to me. It's like, I can't with a lily. I can't with a lily. So it's like we have these fantasies for people for Christmas, at like Christmas or the holidays, whatever holidays. Like the holidays are supposed to do this heavy lift. The holidays are not doing the heavy lift. You have to do some of the heavy lift here. That's what I really want you to think through. What do you need presents to look like? What do you need lights and sounds to look like? Thinking through that in advance is actually your responsibility. And there is a way to get to your head to a place where you enjoy asking for accommodations and having them met, and where you can tolerate asking for accommodations and not having them met and then making the next decision.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some of those next decisions when your accommodations are not met after this break.
Which is our present to you, the listener.
If you're anything like me, online quizzes might be your guilty pleasure. That's why I am so excited to announce the Autistic Culture Quiz. It's fast, it's fun, and it's pretty to look at. But best of all, it might just change how you see yourself. Take it right now at bit.ly/autistic culture quiz. If you've ever felt like you just get autistic culture, but you don't know how to explain it, this quiz will help you explain autism from a non-medical perspective. Each question is based on one of the 10 pillars of autistic culture. Take the quiz now and improve your cultural competency. It's totally free. Just go to bit.ly/autistic culture quiz. And autistic culture quiz is all one word, all lowercase. This is the way. Okay, we're back. And what I want to talk about now.
Present.
You can't return that present. No.
You can regift it, give it to other people, share it, spread it around. Yeah.
That's right. Send people to the link to this podcast. Do it right now. Okay. So next thing I want to talk about, you are the king of this, Matt. So, and that is creating traditions that work for you. One of my favorite traditions that you have is the Christmas dragon.
Oh.
So the Christmas dragon is definitely not a tradition that everyone has, but it would not be a Lowry family Christmas without the Christmas dragon. So why don't you share that one?
Yes. Okay, so many years ago, and I think if you go with one of our previous Christmas holiday episodes, I read you the story of the Christmas dragon. But long story short, my son loves Christmas lights, so we always go to see Christmas lights. And one of the best sources I prefer, if you're in Kentucky, is Elizabethtown, and they have this thing called Christmas in the Park. And we love Christmas in the Park. We love it to the point where he has created a model Christmas in the Park. And whenever we can find a toy representative of the light show that is in Christmas in the Park, he needs to make that. So we have a box of Christmas in the Park toys. Anyway, we go through and, there's a light that has Frosty. There's a light show that has Rudolph and Santa and, all this kind of stuff. And, there's a light that has a dragon. And there's this dragon in the lake. And I casually say, there's the Christmas dragon. Can't have Christmas without the Christmas dragon. And because my son is a Gestalt language processor and echolalic, he immediately embedded that into his head. You can't have Christmas without the Christmas dragon. So at one point we were talking about, what do you want Santa to bring you? And he said, Christmas dragon brings electric towers. And I was like, yes, Christmas dragon does bring electric towers. So we still have, Santa does sometimes bring stuff, but generally speaking, the Christmas dragon is the thing that brings the big stuff. And we have a tradition where we try to go to sleep, and we're laying there, and it's getting late, and so Santa is a human, right? Santa has a strict schedule, always comes on December 24th around midnight. The Christmas dragon can come whenever, because dragons don't adhere to human calendars because they're dragons. So we'll be trying to go to sleep, and then all of a sudden you will hear dragon noises coming from outside, and you hear flapping and roaring, and then we go and look, and the Christmas dragon has left a great big windmill outside on the back porch. And and of course, look off into the distance, try to see the Christmas dragon and the inky black night, and you say, bye, Christmas dragon, because the Christmas dragon brings the thing that you want the most. And it's usually a handmade thing, because Christmas dragon is very much like that. Like, last year my son really, really wanted at Christmas in the park, there is a windmill, and he loves windmills, but this windmill, instead of having blades, had candy canes, right? So he wanted a windmill with spinning candy canes on there. So Christmas dragon was able to make one of those for him, and he was very, very happy about that. So this is the thing, because whereas humans are very, very crappy about their gift giving, the Christmas dragon knows exactly what you want and goes out of his way to specifically make that thing, because that's how the Christmas dragon rolls. Because the Christmas dragon is not a human and does not half-ass his Christmas responsibilities.
Well, but here's the thing that is so key about that, and why I think everyone needs their version of it, is that is a holiday tradition that supports your family's sensory and emotional needs.
Yes.
And you're not outsourcing that to Hallmark or, whatever outside family traditions outside of like you and Emmett and what you guys need.
No elf on the shelf here.
You will get, right, because Elf on the Shelf just doesn't work for you. It doesn't mean it's not somebody else's. Yeah. It's just like...
We've invited a tiny judgmental narc into our house. Fantastic.
That's like, do not like. But you're going to get a lot of invitations at the holidays. You may get a lot of invitations, and they may or may not work for your family. And so often we do things because we feel obligated. But deciding in advance what your holiday traditions are will actually make it easier for you to say no.
Yeah.
So having, I don't know if, you guys do have kind of a visual representation of Christmas in the park. But having visual representations, whether that's schedules or even a Google Calendar or something, of what are your traditions, I think make it easier to say no. So for us, like, we have set up in our family what we do. And if people want to come, they can come. But here's what we do, and here's what we say yes to, and here's what we say no to. I think that's really key to think about. And when we do something that is out of our normal traditions, like if we're going to try something new, my personal rule is we always arrive late and we always have a plan to leave early.
Yeah.
I know I can't do the whole thing. Like, I cannot, and I'm so sorry, but I am not helping you set up or clean up.
Yeah.
I'm not. I will do that for my events at my house when I can control the environment.
If somebody is inviting you, it's their responsibility to handle this as the host.
Yeah. And if they ask me, I would say no. Only because, like, if I'm working an event, like, that's fine. I will sign up to work the event, but I am not going to have energy before or after to do anything else, like socialize. Yeah. Like, I just, So I know I gotta get there late. I gotta leave early. I have to have an exit route planned. Those are just the only ways I'm going to be able to do all the other things that are coming. Because there are multiple things that are happening in the holidays, and leading up to this, you've already had changes in school schedules. You've had Thanksgiving. Like, you're already out of normal
We
time.
love our routines, and this is not a time of year for routines. Again, the holiday parties and the random days off and meeting extended family, it really, really wrecks your schedule and your equilibrium.
Yeah. And if you have a regular time for therapy, that's probably going to get thrown off. So
Yeah.
then the ways that you manage with some of this stress get changed. And everyone around you is also stressed, many of whom are autistic.
Yeah.
Like, remember, that is really key, with varying levels of tools in their toolbox.
Because everyone has those same cultural expectations that this is the most magical time of the year and you have to do everything perfectly right. Otherwise, the entire season is ruined for everyone.
Right.
Like,
Which
yeah.
usually ruins the season forever. At least at our house. That was
Yeah.
how we managed to ruin every Christmas, was by trying not to ruin every Christmas.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about escape plans. Escape plans are key for me. If you go back to the Pregnancy is Autistic episode, you can hear the origin story of when I learned to create an exit route. I had no idea that I was allowed to have exit routes. No one told me this until my doula did, when people were coming at me to give me various Pitocin drips and epidurals and things I didn't want. She said, "You can go to the bathroom." I had no idea. No one had told me I was allowed to walk away from authorities who wanted to do things to me.
Yeah.
Which is very sad for me, because I was 33 by the time I figured this out. So the bathroom is a great, it's an autistic standby.
Yep.
It's a great place. You can go anytime. Emily Dickinson made a habit of it, as you may recall. That was
Of course.
one of her claims to fame. Yes. So there are other exit plans, though, and depending on the level of support you have from your family, I'm going to give you a few that I used. So for me, I found it much easier to be unmasked with kids.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my holiday tricks was to play with the kids.
Yeah, the kid table is way better than the adult table.
So much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah.
So if you need to re-regulate, head over to the kids table. Do a little puppet show. That's where I get to sing all my Disney songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one. Pets. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
are at a family party at your house or somewhere else where there is a dog, yours or someone else's, the dog always needs a walk. Go
Oh, yeah.
take that dog for a walk. So good.
Sit and talk to the cat, sit and talk to the bird. Whatever animal is there, that animal is your new lifeline.
Yes. Now, this one takes a lot of adulting, but I have reached a point in my life where I do this. So if there is an event, I'm going to tell you how I do this for guests in my house, and then also how I do it for myself. So if there is an event, I always seek out what's sometimes called the sensory room. I sometimes call it a Zen den, the quiet space. There is often a sensory room at events. So sometimes there's not, but you can ask for it. It can be the teacher's lounge at your kid's school party. There is often a place where you can go if you need to be quiet. I have set up a room at our house for this purpose. And when people come over, the first thing I do is tell them, hey, if anytime you need to dip out, just go to the back room. It's all set up for you. And I've got stimmy toys in there, and I've got music in there, and little cuddle blankets, and I've got books and magnetiles and lots of good stuff back there. If you need to set charging for your phone, if you need to just go be alone on your phone, you can ask people, is there a quiet room if I need to dip out?
Yeah. Recharge your phone, recharge yourself, get your needs met.
Yeah. this is not a crazy thing to ask for. And I
No, not
loved
at all.
when I went to the U2 concert, which was at the Sphere in Las Vegas, like on the tickets themselves, it literally said, like, ask about our sensory rooms. And before the show, I got there like an hour early. I identified where the sensory room, the closest one to my seat was.
As is the way.
This is the way. And you can do that at a friend's house. You can do that at a company party.
Yeah.
This is not unreasonable.
Yeah. Find your literal escape room.
Yeah, totally. And the other thing that I love to have, and one of my sisters and my husband are amazing at this, is have an ally who will in some way defend your honor. So if you dip out and people are looking for you, in my family, the thing was to make fun of me. So I would dip out and then my family would be like, oh, she probably fell asleep again, because I had situational narcolepsy around my family and I would always fall asleep. And then they would like put food in my mouth and take pictures of me and post them on the internet, which is really nice.
Oh, horrid.
Yes. So have somebody who, you know, if you dip out and people want to talk shit about your inability to hang at the same level of resilience as neurotypical people, that they're going to say something about you where your honor will be defended. You deserve that. And you can
They need to be able to draw their swords when you're not around.
Yeah. Yes. That's the greatest gift of my marriage, is knowing like my husband is not going to let people talk shit about me when I'm not around.
That's really the least you can ask for. I mean,
it really is.
Yeah.
And even asking for it seems like so much to ask for, but really it's not.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing about the whole gift giving and the people. We want that connection. We want the community. We want to be around people who understand us, because, again, we are told neurotypicals can get together and bond over paint drying if they really want to.
I think they do. Have you ever heard them talk about the weather or sports ball?
Yeah. It's a case of the Mondays. Now they all get together and have calendar discussions.
Right.
And it's with us. We really, really want to be heard, and we want to be seen, and we want to be not just accepted but welcomed. And that's why this is a very, very hard time for a lot of us, because that just does not happen, because we don't have those people in our life. And that's the whole thing about the gift giving, because I am a very intense gift giver, because I take it upon myself to make mental notes of many, many things about people in my life, because I want them to know that I listen to them and I acknowledge them and I remember things. But nobody does that for me.
Yeah. Right.
And this is why gift giving sucks, because it's a reminder that people don't listen to us, that people don't have that same intensity for us that we have for them. And if you do have people in your life who are that intense, who give you that, the oxytocin rush, by all means celebrate them and hold them tight and shout out in the
how
comments
lucky
to
you
these
are.
people.
Yes. Shout out in the comments to them. Your people. Becca, Lori, Hector, and I have talked about this, how her mom was that person for her, and now her partner Antonio is that person. And having a person who really gets you and sees you is something to be celebrated.
Yeah,
for sure.
And if you have a person like that, then the holidays are great. And if you don't, there's always Chinese food.
Well, actually, excellent segue, my friend, because the next thing I want to talk about is food.
Oh, I thought we were advertising Chinese food now. Okay.
No, it will be. Yes, we have a new sponsor, Chinese food. No, we do not. No, but I do want to talk about food, because I end up with a lot of GI issues. Well, first of all, I'm autistic, so I have a lot of GI issues. And then
is the way.
The holidays, there are a bunch of reasons why they're worse for me. One, I'm not eating my safe foods. So that's one. And then I'm also stressed.
Yeah.
And then I often eat things that don't agree with me, but I have to keep going. So I'm sort of masking, and then I pay for that later.
Yeah.
You guys have some food rules, I think. Don't you have Christmas food rules? You have some Christmas food traditions?
We have the McNugget platter.
Yes. Tell me
Yeah.
more about your
Uh,
Christmas food traditions.
So the Throckmortons, my mother's family, just about all autistic. Whenever we got together for a family gathering, there was always the McNugget platter, which was a giant pile of chicken McNuggets. Somebody got ahead of time with the sauces nearby, and there were a lot of rolls and a lot of brown/tan foods, a lot of potatoes, because who doesn't love a potato?
Listen,
You
I'm a
know,
beige food. I love all the beige foods, from vanilla
yeah,
ice cream to mashed potatoes to toast. You can't stop me.
yeah.
Bring on the cornflakes.
Yeah, give me rolls and mashed potato. Give me rolls and
Rolls,
my
dinner
favorite
rolls.
is just buttered potatoes. You throw a potato, boil it until it gets soft, throw some butter on there. That's my
Mm.
holiday food, and that's there's certain things. And again, with my son, I do like turkey, so I will make me some turkey. But we will also stop at McDonald's ahead of time to get a ridiculous number of McNuggets so that he can have his McNugget platter. Because I know that he's not going to eat anything fancy. He's not a broccoli person by any means, but he will eat some McNuggets. So
Right. And if you feel like there are expectations from the outside of like what you should feed your child, like just work through those. Do the work to work through those. You can eat whatever you want. There are not Christmas, if everybody is having, I don't know, what roast beast on Christmas
yeah,
Day and you do not want roast beast, you do not have to have it.
bring your bento box and
There you go.
eat your own food.
Yes, that is allowed. You have to claim that for yourself. Autistic culture allows you to claim that. So you don't need to fit in and eat what other people are eating to be
No.
lovable or worthy of a holiday, of a happy holiday celebration.
Yeah, you got to get your needs met.
So I've got some self-care tips I want to share, but first let's do one more quick break. We'll come back and I will share some self-care tips and some post-holiday tools. Psst. It's me again, Angela, but this time I'm in an ad and I have an incredible opportunity to share with you. So if you are a master's level therapist or just a nosy autodidactic type like me, don't turn off this ad because I want to tell you about NeuroPebble's diagnostic assessment training designed for master level clinicians. It is one of the coolest courses I have ever taken. I just finished it right before I wrote my adult autism book, which talks about self-identification. And this course, it was a big inspiration to me. If you want to learn an affirming way to assess autism and ADHD that bridges the gap between self-identification and formal testing, this is the course for you. And if you're a professional, you can even get 7 CEU credits. It's affordable, it's practical, and if autism diagnosis is your special interest or if it's your job, it is so chock full of information and resources. Go to bit.ly/neuropebble to learn more. That's bit.ly/neuropebble. And neuropebble is all one word, all lowercase. Okay, self-care tools. These come from Lil Penguin Studios. I will put the link to this. I absolutely loved this. First of all, if you are going into the holidays and really want to be prepared, I would stock up. I would have a list of these things for you. So what are your Christmas movies or holiday movies you want to watch, or TV shows you want to watch as ambiance, like have on in the background, or sit down and watch? Because those are two different lists for me. Do you have those, like some that you just want to have on, like in the
yeah.
background.
Like, Christmas Story, it plays, nonstop, and I already know it word for word. It can be a background thing, but there's some stuff that I absolutely have to be able to pay full attention to, because I have to soak it up every year, because it's, one of those things that it's the ritual. You
Yes.
Again, there will be times where, like Charlie Brown Christmas is on in the background, because we'll just have it running on repeat. But there are other times where it'll be like late at night and everything will be dark, and I'll be sitting there with a tree, and I now have a fireplace. So that's why we'll talk about this in the organization episode, why I've organized my living room as it is, specifically so that there can be a Christmas tree over there, a fireplace here, books right here, the TV over there. I will have Christmas here, Christmas here, Christmas here, Christmas here, and sit here in this rocking chair, and it will be ultimate peace once I get this godforsaken mess taken care of.
Well, what I recommend is having some special versions of all those things for the holidays to help you actually integrate and notice that you are enjoying the holidays. So, for instance, if you have in your living room a regular blanket that you use, consider getting a Christmas blanket, or consider getting special Christmas candles, or
the Jewish people have very special Christmas candles.
They do, or get a menorah. Why not? You could. That's part of Festivus. Get some Kwanzaa candles. They're also lovely.
Yeah.
Get some Christmas socks that you just wear at Christmas if you're a sock person, or Christmas pajamas. Get some Christmas mugs that you just pull out and use for your favorite beverages at Christmas time. These things might seem like extras, or they might seem like decorating. But for autistic people, one of the things that we really need to do is notice we are enjoying the holidays.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it pass by and feeling stressed by everything.
Yeah.
How can you actually integrate and notice the holidays? For me, one of my weird collections is, it's not that weird, but so I have a Swarovski Christmas ornament collection.
Yeah.
And I have a special Christmas tree just for those ornaments. And I can look at them. They're like snowflakes and stars. And I can look at them and enjoy them. I used to be, when I was a kid, I was really into our manger setup.
Yeah.
I loved our manger. And I would just look at and line up the animals and try different combinations of where people sat. Those things actually count. They're not extras. They are part of the holidays, quiet times and things you do. Making a playlist, if you're a Spotify person, of your favorite Christmas songs and actually listening to those. Those count. There's so much rushing at the holidays, but actually making time for holiday books, holiday movies, holiday songs, maybe holiday art that you'll create, or knitting a scarf, or Matt mentioned going to see the Christmas lights in your town.
Watch the Muppet Christmas Carol, because there are really the three best Christmas carols. Because again, Christmas, we have this, what's his face? Screwed over Hans Christian Andersen. So,
Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol.
We are not a fan of Charles Dickens.
No, don't like him.
But there are three versions of A Christmas Carol that we have to watch. Number one, the best all-time version of A Christmas Carol is A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, it's so good.
Fight me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It has Gonzo as Charles Dickens as the narrator. It has the most complete cast of the original Muppeteers following the death of Jim Henson and Richard Hunt. So, it's the first new voices of Statler and Waldorf. But Michael Caine fucking brings it, man. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the meme, but this actually happened in real life. The people behind the movie were like, "Oh, it's a Muppet movie, so feel free to have some fun with it." And Michael Caine's like, "I will play this as serious as a car wreck." So,
and he's Scrooge, right?
He's Scrooge.
Yeah,
he's the one human in the movie. Oh, there's Scrooge and his family; they're all humans, but he interacts with the Muppets as though they are living creatures. His acting, he brings full acting to this, and it
So
makes all the Muppet performances even better because they're acting with Michael Caine. It will tug at your hearts. Watch the full version with the song "When Love Is Gone" because they took it out from many versions, but it's back. So watch that version. Better than anything else, it is the best version. Second place is the 11th Doctor's Christmas Carol episode, where he goes to this planet and Amy and Rory are crashing and they're going to die a horrible fiery death on a cruise ship unless the Doctor intervenes and clears up the sky. But this Scrooge-esque character doesn't care about anyone or everything, so the Doctor decides to do a Christmas Carol and become the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future, thus making... And the Scrooge is played by Michael Gambon, who is Dumbledore.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So Dumbledore is Scrooge, and the Doctor has to make Scrooge see the value of the people around him. And oh my God, it rips my heart out every time.
And that's Matt Smith, right? That's the Matt Smith one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that's Matt Smith. And I love the phrase "we're halfway through the dark." And the line that gets me every single time is "You didn't hit the boy." And because he's halfway out of the dark, he didn't go completely into the dark. There's still good in him. And if you haven't seen it, by all means, check it out. It's heart-wrenching.
On Amazon
it's a great,
Prime.
Yeah. Or in my library because I have everything.
Or go to Matt's house.
Yeah, because I have every media ever. But the third place.
And what's number 3? Yes,
Mickey's Christmas Carol, because Scrooge plays Scrooge, and you get some double Scrooge on that. Scrooge McDuck plays Ebenezer Scrooge, and it was the first time that Alan Young played Scrooge, and he played Scrooge for DuckTales and everything else. So it's a very, very truncated version where you shrink Christmas Carol down to like 20 minutes, but it was like Don Bluth animated, and it was a really, really, it's paired with Smallwin if you get the DVD, and that's another heart-wrencher right there. But yeah, those are the notable runner-ups include like the Patrick Stewart version or the one from the 50s with Alistair Cook. Was it Alistair Cook? Alistair, yeah. But anyway, but there's notable runner-ups, those have to be on and have to pay full attention. No one can speak during those because we have to pay full attention because we have to soak in all of the feelings from the Doctor and Scrooge and Gonzo and Mickey. So there we are, because that is friends, family, and fictional characters.
I fact-checked you real time. Alistair Sim.
Alistair Sim. There you go.
Yes.
Thank you.
1951. That was pretty
Alistair
impressive.
Cook was a Masterpiece Theater.
Very impressive references there.
Yeah.
So your self-care includes making time for all of this stuff. The other thing that helps me is I know there is going to be a certain amount of masking during the holidays.
Yeah.
And I find debriefing on when I was masking, so it's not a secret, helps me to kind of release some of the stress from masking. So the expectation we're never going to mask is a very high one that we can't always meet. But the expectation that when I do mask, I can joke around about it with friends, that makes it so different and increases the amount of authentic connections that you have in the holidays. And the thing that you are going to get energy from is those authentic connections with yourself, with your fictional character friends, with those movies and songs and your own memories of the light show that you like going to, and real actual friends and family that see you and support you for who you are.
Even if they're online, because online friends are still friends. My best friends are, again, I've only met Angela twice in real life, But here we are, and we need to stay in contact. And if you just Zoom with the people who really matter and have a Zoom party, you know, it's better than being physically with people who don't understand you.
Yeah. 100%. And if you need to be with people who don't understand you for some reason, that's fine, but limit the time and know that is doing damage you are going to have to repair with other things.
Yeah.
So do that planning work. You will be so glad you did. I mentioned earlier Jade Farrington's guide, and I want to shout this out again. I will put the link. This is a guide by neurodivergent people for neurodivergent people on how to ditch the expectations and get your needs met. Some great counselors that contributed to this that you will find: Scott Nielsen from Autistically Scott, Liz Evans, the Untypical OT, Courtney Friedman Thompson from Camille Coaching, Helen Edgar from Autistic Realms, who does some amazing work.
Yeah.
Jody Clark, who is a children's well-being practitioner, Jess Gardner from Grove Neurodivergent Mentoring. So amazing contributors. I've only listed a handful. Also, I will link to Jade Farrington's Substack. This is a great resource, and you owe it to yourself to make Christmas planning, make identifying your needs for this year a part of your Christmas planning. Maybe do that. Plan to do that in November sometime, and then keep adjusting. Your family changes, your needs change, the year changes. So whatever is going on for you, plan to have a holiday that accommodates you and do that work. So that's it.
Self-advocacy.
Matt, I was just self-advocacy. Final thoughts as a therapist. You probably see people coming in before and after the holidays with holiday trauma. Any final thoughts you want to share that you would tell your clients about the holidays?
Create a safety plan. Do self-care, because honestly, the gauntlet between Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day is just this long stretch of psychological horror. And that's when I have the most on-call sessions, because there's inevitably something that pops up during that entire stretch. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Take care of yourself so you can get through it. Just take care of your own needs, because that other people might not.
I was going to say, ain't no one going to do it for you, sadly.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we want you guys to have happy holidays. It is possible to at least have some happy moments. And we want to hear some of your traditions and tools and people that are supporting you in the comments. So head over to autisticculturepodcast.com and share with us in the comments. And if you think this episode will help someone, please share this episode as well. Thanks for being with us.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast Advocacy Edition.
Be sure to tune in for our Autistic Culture episodes every Tuesday, where we celebrate autistic contributions to society, culture, and history.
For even more autistic culture, consider becoming a paid member for exclusive perks like live Q&A calls with us, a virtual writing circle, and our new Self-Defined Living course by Becca Laurie Hector.
Fun fact, Matt, it actually costs us $8 for every minute that people see or hear on the podcast. But our member pricing is just $8 a month.
What a bargain!
What a bargain! Buy 1 minute and get 500 minutes for free. Seriously, if you can afford this, we really appreciate your contribution. It makes all this possible.
And of course, the best way everyone can support what we're doing is to rate, review, share, and subscribe on Substack or your favorite podcast app.
This is the way.